Welcome back to Science Rocks. One of the big attractors for hosting the Ocean Blue Film Festival is that St. Petersburg is a peninsula surrounded by water. And St. Petersburg was also the host of the Region 4 Hooked on Family Alliance Conference. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics are critical 21st century skills needed for today's workforce. The STEM on a Shoestring presentation was for educators around Florida to experience affordable STEM activities that they can do in their classrooms. What I also do is provide STEM family nights, because what I'm finding is kids are going home, they're talking about what they're doing, but the parents don't know how to continue that conversation with them or offer opportunities. So what we do is we offer STEM family nights throughout the year. We talk about what we're doing in Pinellas County. We talk about STEM on a global basis and also what they can do in their home. So that's why I think this conference is really good, because we're talking about home and school connection. So any student that graduates from high school and goes into a STEM field, they have lots of opportunities for jobs. And that's why we need to be able to push our students towards that. What we're doing in Pinellas County is we want to offer our students multiple paths to look at a career field. So when you go get a master's, we want you to have lots of opportunities. Or if you decide not to go get a master's and you decide to go, let's say, to PTech and get a certification, what can you do with those certifications? We need to use STEM in a different manner other than just thinking of engineering, because when you think of STEM, you think of engineering. But we're solving real world problems. And so it's not just a Pinellas County thing. We work with all aspects of Florida education, and we're trying to get a global kind of platform to talk about STEM in a non-threatening format. An example of STEM on a shoestring came when those in attendance, with the aid of paper clips, recycled cups, and a piece of lifesaver candy, were asked to save the life of Freddie the gummy worm, who had fallen out of his canoe and unfortunately could not swim. The only things that you would need to purchase are the gummy worms and the lifesavers. Do you get it? You got it! Great! He's alive. Good. There's a lot of connections that you can make with a cheap activity, and that's what the purpose of this is, because we think STEM and we immediately go to robotics. And there's a lot more that you can do to it just to engage them. But there's all different types of learners, and I want you to think of yourself as a different type of learner, because some of you might not want to work in a group, but some of you are really good at diagramming. So you each, and that connects to what you guys are talking about here, is that you each bring something to the table. And this is an affordable way to do it. So in front of you, you have modern education. If you open it up, there's a lot of STEM components in here. So you can see that there's an article. I just titled it DIY STEM. That's very trendy right now. Do it yourself. You find that on Pinterest a lot. STEM on a shoestring is the same thing. So I just have some quick activities in here that you can do either at home, or you can do in the classroom, or you can do with your friends on late night activities. And STEM is really approachable if you look at it from that aspect. It can be very involved and very rigorous, absolutely. But we have to get kids interested in STEM, and this is the basic low level. And if they become passionate about it, then I think that they'll want to do more research, they'll become more interested. And for you as educators, I think if you have a passion, let's say there's a lot of educators that are passionate about environmental issues. This is one platform that you can take to address STEM, or to create after-school STEM academies.
I think that on a shoestring budget, it's more accessible than I thought that it had been initially. Being a science teacher for so many years, I think that we kind of assume that labs have to be elaborate and they have to be expensive, but this has provided a resource for me to find a cheaper way to bring STEM into my classroom.
85% of our students are kinesthetic learners, which means hands-on, they get to touch and feel. My partner and I really had an excellent time and experience communicating to each other, looking at the materials that we had to work with, and trying to figure out how we were going to help our little Freddie worm survive.
My partner and I had different ways of thinking. She was a science teacher, so she approached the problems in a scientific way. I'm more artsy, so I'm grateful that the way that I thought added value to what we did as well. So I think about that with our diversified classrooms. Students have different levels of thinking, and it validates that different type of outside the box thinking.
Thank you. STEM on a Shoestring, combining affordable activities and engineering experiences for our students. And when we come back, we'll see how Pinellas County educators take this lesson back to their schools as we visit Jamerson, one of the premier engineering elementary schools in Pinellas County. Science Rocks rolls on in a moment.